Hello and welcome to another episode of the Evolve podcast. My name is Carlos Monteiro. I'm your host and founder of Evolve. On the Evolve podcast, you have a unique opportunity to listen to the conversations I have with experts and thought leaders from all over the globe, where we speak about digital transformation, management, future of work, and topics that are extremely relevant for the modern leader. Before we start, I'd like to ask you to tag me on LinkedIn or Instagram, and please let me know you're listening to Evolve. Now let's go to today's episode, and thank you so much for listening.
Hello everyone, this is Carlos again, Carlos with the Evolve channel. I'm speaking with you straight from the beautiful city of Porto, in the marvelous country of Portugal. And I'm here at Sonae. So Sonae is a very large multinational company present in over 90 countries. They're doing shopping malls, real estate, financial services, softwares, telecom, and a bunch of other stuff. Sonae is also the largest private employer in Portugal, employing over 50,000 people, if Wikipedia is right. I hope so. I have the honor today to be joined by David Alves, who he has an amazing breadth of experience in here at Sonae, has also worked at Procter & Gamble. He's been working at Sonae for a number of years, which he's going to be introducing himself. We'll be talking about e-commerce, technology, the future of work. So I think it's better to listen from the man himself. So David, thanks very much for the opportunity. I always start with the same old question. Share with us your big picture. How did you land at the position that you're in today, and your responsibilities?
Hello, thank you for this. I've studied in Porto, and I've done Erasmus, and I've worked at P&G for 5 years. It was quite an amazing experience. We had the opportunity to do a huge event in Lisbon, and then I joined all the .coms with a Telco, a new Telco company in Portugal, which was already owned by Sonae. Mm-hmm. And I've been from sales positions to marketing to different areas, B2B, B2C, different ways of doing businesses, from retail to wholesale to sales reps. And then later on I've joined the grocery part of the Sonae group with Sonae MC, and I've been here for 8 years now, or 9 years. And I've done from logistics to systems, IT, and e-commerce and non-food commercial areas. So now I'm responsible for the e-commerce and the non-food commercial, and so that's it. I'm a father of 5 kids.
Nice.
And returning to Porto was very good because this is a small town, but full of life and things to do. So it's quite a pleasure to be able to work here and live my life.
Very nice. David, before we jump into e-commerce per se, I think you said you've been working also as a sales rep and things as such. And in your view, what's changed in terms of technology there?
Everything has been changing quite a lot. I think we've tried many different things. One thing I did at P&G still, so I'm talking about 97 or something like that, was we were trying to design routings for visits. So right. We had vans visiting small retailers. Mm-hmm. and we were designing routes, and so we were describing how the algorithms could do it, and things like that. So and we've been discussing that, and but the key thing was every time we'd go out with the guys, with the drivers, they always complained that that was not best route,
right,
because they would do it differently, etc., etc. So I think from those days when people were not so confident and trustful on the technology side, when we were trying to plan and really to increase productivity, to nowadays where people don't even know that town, and they always trust on Waze or Google Drive to go from one place to the next. It's amazing. It's a huge step, and it's something that really has changed a lot. People, I usually say that kind of 5 years ago, an outdoor that there is in one of the major cross sections here in Porto used to say that there was a doctor, there is a surgeon, that it's advertising for hospitals. So it was about a doctor, a surgeon that was helped by robotics to perform. And so it was good because that was the key message. So this big name is helped by robotics. Nowadays, you look at that same position for advertising, same billboard, and it's the opposite side. It's robotics with a surgeon.
Sure.
So it's really the trust that nowadays the public in general has in technology, it's huge. And if you've been inside technology, sometimes you know that trust is too much because technology is still not there, but people already believe that technology is already out there in terms of performance and security and all that.
I love that. So let's talk about actually the human aspect and more like a high level thought leadership coming from you. So yesterday I was doing my best because I was at the train, and the train got here at 1:20, something like that. So it's just like, Jesus, I have to talk to David, right? And I watched a video of yours where you were talking about it was made by I think a large newspaper publication, and you were talking about the impact of robotics and artificial intelligence. It was in Portuguese. So I was with the CTO of Natura, right? And he was talking about, well, the future is data, but the human element is still, as you're saying.
It's critical. So the key thing in everything we develop and the way you look forward as mankind, it's the way that the people relate with the technology.
Right.
Okay, so we know that many good technologies did not succeed in the past, and suboptimal technologies were actually huge successes. So the key thing is really getting the people engaged, the consumers engaged with your way of doing, and taking what is more natural for them. So it's all the artificial intelligence, all the algorithms, all the things that you can measure nowadays and take conclusions for that, is something that you always go for an adoption curve that actually probably at the early stage sounds like overwhelming to you,
right,
and then you have really to fine-tune it and really make it more natural. It's the same when you search for something on your mobile phone, and then all your social networks start advertising that same thing. That's too much nowadays. It's really intrusive. But if the Google and all the others are able to fine tune it and slow it down, it will become more natural.
Right. So
it's like when you talk with your friends. When you are talking about with your friends and say, "Okay, I'm planning to go on holidays to India or something like that," you are not expecting everybody to be talking about India
right,
in that night, okay, during dinner and to buy whatsoever. And that's what's happening nowadays in the with all the artificial intelligence that you are putting behind it. It's too much.
Right.
But it's natural, so it's a learning curve. It will slow down, and it will become more interesting for adoption and all the balance.
So when we look at your role and everything that your role sort of encompasses, right, in grocery today, what is the future of grocery shops? Because we have all the, let's say, yada 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 in terms of technology and voice search and blah blah blah, and I think I read something that the Sonae IM group has acquired an Israeli technology to sort of support the shops, and sort of like that was interesting, like what I read about. So really where I want to get is like there's a lot of talk about technology, but there's real stuff like legacy systems that stops shops from grocers evolving and so on. So
there's lots of legacy systems. I would say even the products. So even the products, it's something that you really need to bring from manufacture to the shelf, and to the house of the consumer. So grocery shopping will evolve like everything else as in the past. And when you look at it, 30 years ago, Sonae was one of the first to adopt the EIN code in the products.
Really?
In Portugal, and that was quite a change. I still remember when you would go to a small grocery shop, the guy would put the price, would type down the price. You never know if the guy was right or not. And then when you look at the bill at the end, it was a series of numbers. It never said the products you were buying.
Right.
So you could never check if the check was okay. So it's nowadays we take it for granted, but there was a huge joint forces from all the people involved in the supply chain in order to improve and increase productivity. It would be impossible for you to be in a Saturday morning in a hypermarket in a line at cashier with the guy just typing down the different prices. Nowadays that's impossible. You never think about it. So it's something that it was different 30 years ago.
Right.
So it's not that far away. And the grocery will keep on evolving. So there will be apps that you can actually do your own checkout. There will be apps where you actually ask for products that are not on the shelf, but that specialty, you need that specialty for your dog or for your cat, or because it's better, looks better at your house, and you'll be asking for that, and it will be delivered to you. You can pick it up in store. So the universe of a supermarket, a hypermarket, will be on your mobile. It will be inside the store. You still want to have all the physical experience of going through the aisle and checking new products that are coming out,
right.
Seeing new stuff that you want to try, and seeing the promotions, etc.
I never been to China myself. Have you?
Yeah.
Probably,
Yeah,
right. And of course, what we see about HEMA and all these initiatives, like such as you get to a fish shelf, and then you just have like the product with the recipe and so on. Do you see that the market, Portuguese or us as Westerns, are prepared for that?
The China is quite different, because when you look at fish and stuff like that, you have the fish alive and kicking inside the supermarket, which is quite uncommon in a normal hypermarket or supermarket in Europe. But taking that into a different way, you can have recipes, and you will be distributing content together with the product. For instance, we publish every month a recipe magazine that is has a huge amount of consumers that buy it. So I think it's the best-selling magazine in Portugal. But the key question is, consumers sometimes will want to have an easy way, so they will take food already prepared that is very easy to take and to eat, and they will have other moments where you want to be cooking for relaxing, for having fun with your family or friends. So there will be different situations, and the key thing for us is to make it available for consumers and not really trying to make one solution for consumers.
Right.
In China, what happens is the density of people. So you have a huge amount of people concentrated in a very small place, and so you really need to speed up everything. So you have deliveries done in less than 30 minutes and things like that, because it's very near and it's very easy to go through.
But I was talking to a taxi driver. He was it was a taxi driver yesterday, and he wasn't so optimistic. I'm not gonna go into this, but he said, it seems like that there's a lot of investments into. He compared to banks a couple of years ago in Portugal, especially in this area of Porto, like a lot of supermarkets expanding and so on. And why is that then?
It's a question of change of formats. You used to have certain kinds of type of stores. Nowadays, you want smaller stores next to where people live or to where people work.
Like the Bonjour, like
yes,
the
small Bon Dia, the Bon Dia that we are opening. So it's a question of change of formats, and right. you naturally there is a business case behind each format, and you go after it. It's quite natural there. So the key question is then. How can you ensure that this will be still relevant in the future? And it's only delivering a good experience to the customers and delivering good quality products to the customer at a good price. So it's something still the customers go inside the store and they want to check on the promotions, they want to check on new products that are coming out. So all that, it's still a very physical experience.
Nice.
It's not easy to buy 50 items in the web. When our customers at the web, they buy average 51 items, different items in a basket. That's quite a long purchase.
It is.
And when you have promotions, you always want to check if the laundry detergent you are buying is the one on promotion or if it's the other one. So it's something that really takes time out of you, and so sometimes it's easier to go in store and just do it.
So, for example, and I think that's a perfect segue to my next question. As we were speaking, like the sort of role of super apps in Brazil, they're really emerging, like Rappi, iFood, Uber Eats, and these guys, probably because they have so much investment behind, now they're doing partnerships with supermarkets, and some of them they feel threatened, some of them they feel like it's a huge opportunity.
Now we partner here in Portugal. We partnered with two of those instant delivery companies, and it's okay. We deliver.
Right.
We have same-day delivery. Our e-commerce, if you order up to 2 o'clock, you can have it still on the same day. If you order up to midnight, you have on next morning. So we have same-day, let's say, delivery, and there are the instant delivery options, which deliver to you very, very fast. And we are on both markets. As the customer prefers, we are doing it. It's quite a different purchase. So it's something that you really need Coke because you are ordering a pizza and you want to have drinks, or a bottle of wine, or just something for dessert or something like that. So it's quite a different purchase because you are most probably being delivered by motorbike,
yes,
not by van. So it's really a completely different need that you need to provide and really to deliver against.
Very nice. What are your key priorities today as the leader behind this little monster here?
No, the key priorities market-wise, it's really to build healthy business models. So e-commerce is still a very tough business. Versus other e-commerce businesses where you are only delivering one or two items to the customer. So all the e-commerce in grocery is still very tough, and we want to provide a good experience to the customer, and we want, of course, to deliver also profit behind that business. And being such intensive in terms of capex and intensive in terms of labor, because you are talking about the picking by unit and delivering to the customer house, so that's quite intensive in terms of labor, besides all the intensity in terms of capex with all the new technologies
and
coming.
shops, yeah.
So that's one key area of development. The other one is really getting more and more relevant all the products that we are developing and designing and purchasing to have them available at our shelves. So it's really we need to have customers don't want to buy houseware, for instance, or cutlery that they were buying 4 years ago. They want to buy the new designs, new ideas. Let's talk about toys. It's exactly the same. So when you look at any of the major manufacturers there, they keep on changing their portfolio of products. So it's the same with us. We need really to be able to manage all this change, continuous change, without affecting stocks, which is quite difficult because we have a huge amount of stores and you have to ensure rotation of the product. And really, the key thing keeps on being the right product, the new product at shelf, and being able to build trust with the customer. So those are the two key challenges that we are facing, let's say, besides all the others. Of course, on the talent front...
Yeah, that was my next question. Yeah.
On the talent front, it's really... you need to build up ways of attracting young people, and not so young, but attracting people that actually build up diversity and is able to deliver the best empathy with the customer, understanding of the customer, in order to move the company forward.
So the challenge, let's call it the human resource challenge wise today. Is it more on the storefront? Is it more here on the technology or people that can operate technology front? Or
it's everywhere. And the key thing is everybody wants to have a purpose. Sometimes when you are in the head office, you don't feel that the purpose is so
tangible.
Yes,
yeah.
and
I
so
work for
visible.
So
It's difficult to understand why am I doing this.
Yeah.
So it's not easy. So you really need to show and to ask people to go into the store, into the e-commerce operation, understand why their role, their tasks are key for really the end customer and all the colleagues that are delivering to the end customer. And when you are in store, it looks like it's very tangible because the cashier keeps on moving, but then it becomes it looks like you are less empowered because you just react. So it's really key to go into the storefront and involve people into the new solutions that you are building for the future. And when they see some improvements there, really you are building the empowerment of the people, and they really get engaged. When they get engaged with you, with your company, they will be the best facing to the customer, and they will be smiling to the customer, and that is key. So in the headquarters, you really need to work on the purpose and make people understand the full operation, and not only the figures or the coding or whatsoever. And on the storefront, you really need to work on the engagement and them realizing that they are important in order to design the future as well.
Very nice. 2 final questions, and you're off my hook. I will ask you about the future of work, but before that, the future of brands versus like retailers. Your opinion on that?
It will be a decision made by the customers.
Right.
I've worked at brands, so I've been at P&G, and in the retail we also try to develop brands. So we have several products that we like to test. So we sell in marketplaces European wide to really test if the product really works out and is able to attract customers, not because we have that in our shelves, but because they are available to other customers. It's a very good way of testing our private label,
right.
And to develop brands in that sense. So brands are key because they are kind of signals that simplify our purchasing, our journey inside the store or in the web. I realize that they stand for something. And retailers are key because those are the experience places where people actually get to know new things, and they get to realize what this brand is now delivering to me, because we are with a massive information and all the advertising, all the recommendations that the YouTubers do, or the key people in society are doing. We know that those are not the most independent ones.
Yeah.
So we really need to go in the store and just understand if that is something that we want to try or not. So I'd say brands are very useful because they simplify our purchasing and our screening of products. And then retailers are key in order to deliver simplified products, if you are not going for the brands, if you are going for private labels, or they are the places where you can actually experience the brands.
Nice. Future of work. In your opinion, like...
I think the future is like people need to enjoy what they are doing. They need to be part of something. So like in the past, I mean, I remember my parents arriving home happy about what happened in their working day. My mother was a teacher, and she would complain about this guy that was not keeping pace, or that those that were really achievers. And that is, you need to like what you are doing. Preferably, you need to love what you are doing, and that will translate into your results and the way you are facing the day-to-day. So that is key. And nowadays, our lives are much more connected, are moving at a faster pace. So you really need to bring that into the work. You cannot be looking or calculating something for hours and hours or weeks isolated. You need to do it. The work needs to be like your day-to-day life. It needs to be connected, needs to be with others, and really with a purpose in mind. And that is just keeping the work pace at the same as your social life pace or family pace.
Okay.
But it's just keep enjoying it, and it will be fine.
David, thanks very much. That was very, very kind of you.
Thank you, Carlos.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming over.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Evolve podcast with your host, Carlos Monteiro, myself. You know, it means a lot to me that you take your time and listen to the conversations I bring to life with some of our guests. I do my best to bring the best content I can on how society is evolving. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast on Google Play or iTunes, and feel free to reach out to me on Instagram or LinkedIn. I'm very, very active on both platforms, and I make sure to answer everyone on those platforms. No PAs, no automation. Once again, thank you so much, and stay tuned to our next episode. Thank you.